All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back. If you're just watching for the first time in a while, I am in California right now, technically on vacation. This will be my last video of the week. I probably won't have another video out till probably either Sunday or Monday. Monday, probably more likely. We're going out to the lake and things like that, so I'm going to be kind of taking it easy here as far as YouTube goes and as far as racing goes. But I wanted to put this video together because there's a couple of things on this board that I've been trying to make a video about. I thought about it and I was like, man, I just don't know if it's good enough for one video. So I'm going to put it all together and do kind of a news of the day video, kind of just some things that have been on my mind that I wanted to talk about here on the channel and throw them all on the board at the same time and just make one big video out of it. Yeah, let's jump right into it. So the first thing on the board, this was revealed a little bit earlier on today. So during this week of 4th of July and things like that, it seems like not a whole lot of high limit guys are going to be racing. They could have went to PA Speed Week, and I know Brent Marks is there. There might be one other guy with high limit that's there. A couple guys might go to Knoxville, but it's not like a ton of guys are going out racing. I think they're kind of just taking the weekend off and going to, relax a little bit. That is not the case for Justin Peck. He is going to be racing a 360 sprint car out here in California at Marysville Raceway. I think that's tonight, whatever the 3rd is. That's today. Yeah, so July 3rd, he's going to be racing tonight at Marysville. And then he's going to race tomorrow at Placerville and Saturday at Placerville Speedway here in California. He's going to be driving the Clayton Snow Racing number 7 car. That's a car that those two have, paired up quite a bit here over the last couple of years, whether that's a 360 or a 410 sprint car. And so Justin Peck trying to stay sharp here. He has been pretty fast as of recently as far as high limit goes. And so maybe just trying to stay sharp behind the wheel and get ready for when we come back in about a week or so at the Portsmouth Raceway Park in Ohio. And so good luck to Justin Peck. We'll see if he can get that first win out of the way here this week in California. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about, I almost made a video separately about this because no one's really talking about Dylan Norris this year. He has already ran 47 races, which is second in the nation, only behind Jacob Allen, who has 48. So Dylan Norris, 47 races. And what's most important and most crazy about this is Dylan Norris is the only guy that has ran all of Western PA Speed Week. He ran all of Ohio Sprint Speed Week. He ran all of Maverick Mayhem. And now he's about to run all of PA Speed Week, which is insane because, Western PA Speed Week, it's only 4 races and one of them rained out. He was able to get a win during that Western PA Speed Week. So he ran 3 races there. He ran, 8 or 9 races during Ohio Sprint Speed Week. He ran the 4 races with Maverick Mayhem. And now PA Speed Week, they've rained out once, I think, right? So, and it's supposed to be 10 races. And so I would be willing to say that Dylan Norris might be the busiest guy in all of sprint car racing. And nobody's really talking about him because, he hasn't had exactly the results they've wanted. He's got 1 win. He's got 10, I think-ish, or 11 top 10 finishes this year. And this is the first year back in his family-owned number 17. He's ran quite a few races with high limit, ran an outlaw race, ran a lot in Central PA. But I wanted to give him a little bit of love here because for him to commit to doing all these speed weeks it's quite baffling, to be honest with you. I mean, that's a lot of travel. That's a lot of miles up and down the road. That's a lot of days in a row of racing. And I'm going to give a hat tip to Dylan Norris and that team. He's up to $32,765 earned here in 2024 behind the wheel of that sprint car. Now, the other thing I want to talk about today, and this could be an issue later on this year. It was announced today that Silver Dollar Speedway is canceling their July 4th race over at Chico, California, due to the Thompson wildfire that just started earlier this week in Orville, California. That's about right where I'm sitting at right now. It's about an hour and 15, hour and a half away from me. And so really only about 20-ish minutes or 30-ish minutes away from Chico. And so I'm hoping this does not foreshadow issues to come when High Limit and the Outlaws come to town later on this year. High Limit's going to be back here in California in about a month or so. And we've seen it in the past when the Outlaws have come to California. I want to say it was 2021, maybe 2022. There was a wildfire in the Placerville area, and it canceled a couple of races with the Outlaws out in this area. So hopefully this is not foreshadowing any issues for the rest of the season. Hopefully they can, corral this fire in and hopefully not have any more for the rest of the year because there's going to be a large stretch of time in the state of California and in Oregon where, high-level sprint car racing will be in the area. So really hope everybody is okay in that fire. Hopefully there's no injuries or anything like that, and hopefully they can contain it here relatively soon. I heard on the radio earlier that it's still 0% contained, so hopefully that's not a major issue coming up. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, and this happened last night, so this just goes to show that drivers going from one discipline to another does attract some viewership. Last night I could have sat there and watched PA Speed Week. I turned on Dirt Vision and was watching a Hell Tour race from the middle of nowhere, Arkansas, at the old #1 Speedway, because my friend Logan Seavey was racing in that event, and I had no idea. I just turned it on for the feature. I had no idea what he'd done for the rest of the night. I saw the starting lineup. He was starting in 5th or 6th, and then I watched the whole race, and he was up to 3rd place, and he was right behind the 2 leaders. And they were getting into traffic, and he had caught him from like 3 seconds back. He caught up to the back of him and was right there in the mix for the lead. And then with a couple laps to go, the leader, Tanner English, I think, got into a lap car, spun the lap car out, collected Logan. Logan hit the wall or something and broke some kind of steering part or the steering rack or something on his late model. And unfortunately, his night would come to an end, but he's running 3rd place at a Hell Tour race behind 2 guys that I've actually heard of, Ashton Winger and Tanner English, right? So I just wanted to mention that was a very impressive run for Logan Seavey. Unfortunately, he did not get the finish that he deserved, but it just goes to show that this guy, I cannot believe, it's still mind-boggling to me that Toyota Racing passed on Logan Seavey. He performed in everything he's ever been in, when it was the Truck Series deal at Eldora, when he ran the ARCA stuff on the dirt at DuQuoin, and he's performed in a midget non-wing car. He's performed in a wing sprint car on various occasions as well. It is amazing to me that this guy has not landed a deal in NASCAR full-time. I think he has the talent and he has the ability to do so. Last night just goes to show that Logan Seavey is, in my opinion, one of the best drivers in the country. He just does not get talked about enough. So very impressive run. Probably should have been on the podium. Unfortunately, did not even finish the race there with about 4 or 5 laps to go. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about, I almost made a separate video about this as well, and that is Cody Hartlob. I've seen a lot of people talking about him here recently. He was announced a couple weeks ago as the new driver of the John Trone number 39 car, the Trone outdoor car in central Pennsylvania. So far this year, 12 races for Cody Hartlob and an average finish of 9.25. And in those 12 races, 8 of them have resulted in top 10 finishes. He's led like 27 laps total. And right now, since 5th in the overall PA Speed Week point standings. Remember, this is just the first year that Cody Hartlob has raced a 410 sprint car on a full-time basis. Last year, 2023, he ran like 10 races between his own car. He ran the Bill Rose car a little bit. And wasn't really expecting much out of him there. But so far this year, Cody Hartlob has been extremely impressive. Started on the pole the other night of that that Lincoln race where there was some controversy on the start and whatnot. He would end up in 3rd place in that one. And that's been his best finish so far, a 3rd at Lincoln and a 3rd at Williams Grove Speedway. And I wanted to mention this as well. So the last couple of drivers, it's been a definite struggle for John Trone trying to find somebody that fits in that car and runs well and isn't going to go to some other car, some other ride and quit or get fired or anything like that, right? So earlier this year, Callum Williamson drove that car. His average finish was 18th. So that compared to Cody Hartlob, already way better. Then last year, Cameron Smith was in that car. In 2023, he ran a lot of races. Average finish of 12.5. Troy Wagaman Jr. also ran that car in 2023, an 11.8 average finish for him. Chase Dietz was probably the most successful driver in that car, but it's been since 2022 and 2021. His average finish 11.8. He was able to grab a couple of wins in this car. And then Justin Peck, he was on the board earlier on. He also drove this car in 2020, an average finish of 13.1. It has not been a very good stretch of time for this car, but I really do think that they have found something special here with Cody Hartlob. I know a very, very small sample size, only 12 races, but he's performed in those 12 races, very, very good at PA Speed Week. The big thing that I will say, though, is when it comes to when the Outlaws come to town, looking at the stats of Peck, Dietz, Wagaman, Cameron Smith, Callum Williamson, when the Outlaws come to town, that is where things have not went very well for this team at all. They can perform when it comes to, Central PA, local shows like that, but they have not been able to make more than half of the World of Outlaws starts. They show up, but they cannot make the show. So I'm very curious to see when the Outlaws come to town later this year in Central PA, can Cody Hartlob make the show in those races in that Trone 39 car? And if he can, then this may be a guy to watch for coming up over the next couple of years in this car, because so far I have been very, very impressed with him, especially just his first year behind the wheel of a 410 on a full-time basis. Now, the final thing I wanted to talk about, almost made a separate video about this as well. Just talking about the purses overall this year between High Limit and the Outlaws. Brian Walker, Walkipedia, put this out there on Twitter earlier on this week, and I want to kind of expand on it a little bit. So the total purse this year for High Limit is $1.982 million, 605 at the end there. Compare that to the Outlaws. Theirs is $2,500,000 for the total purse that they've paid out so far in 2024. High Limit with 26 races and the Outlaws with 31 races. The total winner's share, so obviously the total purse, the Outlaws have High Limit beat on that just a little bit. The total winner's share, $525,555 for High Limit. For the Outlaws, just $388,000. And we'll kind of look more into that here in just a moment as to why that is. I also want to mention this, that obviously with the loss of the Houston Tie-Break Nationals, the Outlaws are definitely going to take a big hit in these numbers, but it's still interesting to look at this stuff, right? Now, the other thing is the average purse. The Outlaws do have High Limit does have the Outlaws beat on that. Average purse of $75,254 for High Limit and $64,532 for the Outlaws. Now, this is something that is very interesting as well. The High Limit side of things, 11 races this year have paid more than $12,000 to win, right? All the midweek money shows, $20,000 to win. Eagle Nationals, $55,000. The Weikert, $75,000, and all kinds of other races in there as well. With the Outlaws, they have only had 3 races this year that pay more than the $12,000 to win standard purse. All 3 of them are $20,000 to win. Sheldon Haudenschild won 2 of them, and Tyler Courtney won the other one at Huset's, right? So only 3 races have paid more than $12,000 to win this year with the Outlaws. Meanwhile, with High Limit, 11 of them have paid more than $12,000 to win. The winningest driver on either side, Corey Day, with $245,200 for him. Now, remember, that does include the race winnings at Skagit. That includes the race winnings with the Outlaws at Knoxville. And with David Gravel, he is the winningest driver on the Outlaw side of things with $200,200 for him. And so I don't know what I was going with this. A lot of people are probably going to say I'm biased towards High Limit or whatever. I put these numbers on the board. I'm not biased. I'm just telling you I have these numbers. They're on sprintcarratings.com. You can go find them yourself. Sprint Car Ratings then tweeted after Walkipedia tweeted that if they did get those races in with the Outlaws at the Houston's week, almost all of these numbers would be much higher than what High Limit has put out so far this year. So I'm not being biased. I'm just reporting to you guys what is out there. You can go find this stuff yourself on those websites. So yeah, but that's all I've got for you guys today. And just a couple of things I want to talk about before I shut things down for the week here on the YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry about the weird makeshift deal I've got going on here on my parents' couch. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And comment down below, what do you guys think about these news items? Comment and also hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And we'll talk to you again here in about 4 or 5 days when we get back to the home base here. Appreciate your guys' support so very much. And we'll talk to you again here soon.